Hi, Gary O'Neill. Welcome to N2ITIV Solutions. In creating a brand strategy, it's equal parts creativity, but where its focus and root is all about consistency. And, when you look at consistency, the best way to attack consistency is using a framework. And I developed a quick module that goes through and discusses some key points in terms of building a framework for your brand. And we happen to call ours Activate. And it's just basically 8 principles that we want to convey to our customers in every branding and marketing endeavor that we do. Because we want to make sure that we're not what I call veering off course in terms of where we want our brand to end up in the minds of our customers. But the first thing you have to ask yourself is, how do you want to be perceived by your marketplace? And that's part of how you build your own framework for your business. And once you identify all of those different points, then it's going to enable you to focus in on what that framework's designed to do. And, the framework, I think what happens with a lot of small businesses is that the creative part ends up taking over because that's the fun part. But the consistency is where you get the value and you start to build value upon value upon value, because your customer ends up seeing it repeated times, and then they start to get to understand your brand in a lot more dynamic way. And before you know it, you're a household name like a Coke or an Apple or some of these big brands we see. So it's really about, staying on course, because it's the hardest thing to do. It's not the funnest thing, because consistency is always difficult. It's like, trying to work out. It's hard to just do the same exercises all the time. You want to veer off and do other things, but you might not end up reaching your goal. So branding works a lot the same way. It's about repetition, but it's also, the consistency is not about doing the same thing over and over. It's about keeping your core message intact, but understanding how to creatively reinvent it all the time. So think about that. There's a link below. Click it. It'll take you right down to the module. And I made it short and easy for you to understand, so you can implement your own ideas in terms of how the framework would adjust to your business. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you feel that it's useful. And we'll talk to you next time.